Funding for the Food and Drug Administration is also included in the Agricultural Appropriations Bill. An amendment was introduced to give FDA more authority to recall certain drugs. The USMCA has been in effect for 10 days, but there's still worries over enforcement, this time from Canada. Alan Bjerga with the National Milk Producers Federation joins us now for a further look. Good morning, Alan, and happy Friday. What are your worries on the side of dairy things?
Well, when you're taking a look at the USMCA, one of the concerns is just making sure that enforcement remains vigilant. I mean, there's a long history of Canada coming up with creative ways to get around the spirit of trade agreements, and we've already seen a little bit of that with what's called tariff rate quota allocations on the part of Canada. That's basically how they start to distribute the increased market access that the U.S. would get under USMCA. There's some worrisome signs that these are being allocated in ways that are not conducive to greater U.S. dairy shipments to Canada, and we have to be sure that we watch that very closely.
It's also important for consumers to know the work that goes into the food that they consume. So what is the National Milk Producers Federation been doing to focus on what farmers are doing?
You know, that's a very important point, especially during this pandemic. Agriculture is one of those industries that has just never stopped. It's been an essential infrastructure. People have had a demand for dairy products, which you've seen in increased retail sales. But that all begins with the farmer. And so we at NMPF, the largest dairy farmer organization representing the nation's dairy co-ops, have been trying to do is get more of those farmer stories spotlight. We just created a new website called Sharing Our Story. It's on our website. If you just scroll over to the latest news section, you can find Sharing Our Story. And we lead it with what's called Farmer Focus. That's our news section highlighting the work that farmers are doing, members of our cooperatives who are working 24/7, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day to make sure that nutritious products get on consumer tables. By the way, if someone is out there and you know a co-op dairy farmer who should be profiled in this and is a good story, give us an email over at info@nmpf.org. That's our acronym, the National Milk Producers Federation. We'd love to hear about them.